been a little over a year and a half since Diablo III first came out on the PC. Diablo III received mainly positive reviews, but did get some criticism, mainly for the fact that the game was always online, and the auction house ruined the spirit of looting. When Blizzard announced Diablo III would be coming to the Xbox 360 and PS3, it raised a lot of questions. Would anyone really want to restart after giving a PC a year and a half of time? How well could Diablo III translate to a console? And would Blizzard actually do the work to make this port worth it, or was it a cash grab? The surprising answer? Blizzard may have made the console version of Diablo III the one you want to play. Diablo III takes place a few years after the events of Diablo II. A falling star lands in a cathedral of New Tristram and causes the dead to return. You and your character, either a barbarian, a monk, wizard, witch doctor, or demon hunter, goes to investigate and erase the evil from the land once and for all. The mission will take you through 4 lengthy acts in your quest to save the world of Sanctuary. However, the story is not the main focus of Diablo III. The main focus has always been kill enemies and loot until you have the best weapons and armor available. Items are generated randomly throughout the world of Diablo III. A random enemy could have just the item you need or nothing at all. In fact, the map itself randomly generates every time you enter the game. So levels that you played that at one point didn't have a chest there could end up having several that you need. Main campaign goes through 4 acts and are quite lengthy. It actually took the time and made each act quite different from one another. Deepest dungeons of New Tristram to the very gates of heaven. You'll be exploring quite a bit of the world of Sanctuary in your quest to gain loot. Each area gives you plenty to do, especially with the map rearranging itself where you'll want to re-explore an area each time. This may sound tedious, but trust us, after a while you'll appreciate the exploration and will have a ball just going around killing enemies. If the console version of Diablo 3 had any type of Achilles heel, it would be the graphics. It should be pointed out the graphics aren't really bad, it's just not on par with the PC predecessor. The levels and environment are still a spectacle to behold, with a chunk of it being destructive. Your characters look fine and the menus and interface does too. The devil, however, is in the details, as Diablo 3 lacks the sharpness many would get on a PC thanks to the lack of power on the current-gen consoles. This can be seen especially when zoomed in on the character models' faces. While it doesn't damage the overall enjoyment of the game, it's worth mentioning. Keep in mind this is just true for the normal game, as the cinematics still look incredible. The orchestral music for Diablo 3 is also fantastic, adding an amazing level of spectacle to some of the major fights. The sound effects also do a great job here too, as the voices do a fantastic job of continuing the story. Whether it's the voices of characters you stumble across, voices of monsters you fight, and especially the death gurgles of said monsters, the world comes together wonderfully thanks to sound. Blizzard did a fantastic job putting the character classes together too. The classes all play so differently that it's a different game with each character. The strategy you use for your wizard will not be the same as the one you use with your monk. The skills of the barbarian are drastically different from those of the witch doctor. The point being, if you restart Diablo 3 after completing it with your demon hunter with a different class, don't worry. It will feel like a different game altogether, and that's fantastic. There's also a lot of fun to be had with these classes too, as each one is a badass. There's a lot of joy to be had watching your barbarian nail a zombie so hard it flies across the screen, or seeing the demon hunter mow down a horde of enemies with rapid fire. By the time you make it to Diablo himself, you will believe he has no chance against you, and that feeling is wonderful. Some may wonder if this port was a cash grab. Well, stop worrying, because it's not. Blizzard actually did a superb job of making Diablo 3 work on consoles. Just about everything in Diablo 3 has been redone with the console controllers in mind. The menus incorporate the analog stick very effectively to replace the ability to point and click. They even added a few extras to help with gameplay, such as the addition of the defensive role of the right analog stick. Also, when you pick up weapons and armor, it gives you a quick synopsis if it's any improvement for you, and you can equip it or drop it without entering the menu. Diablo 3 is a title that you will want to play over and over and over. On top of loot drops being completely random, leveling up unlocks higher difficulty levels. The benefit of these levels is they increase the loot drops and even give you better items. The bosses may get a lot stronger, with a lot of them getting new moves that make them all the more challenging. This makes the level of accomplishment all the more satisfying when you finally beat them. A feeling with greater emphasis once you get that legendary item to boot. While being online is no longer necessary, that doesn't mean that multiplayer went away. In fact, it works in a big way with Diablo 3. More players you have, the better loot you get, so there's all the more reason to group as much as possible. The online works great. Partnering up with friends is easy, and the quick match function is quick and painless. On top of this, you can also have a group of 4 players play with you on one console. No worries about annoying split screens, as all of you can play on one screen, though you can't separate too far from each other. If the idea of level grinding and the constant search for better loot is not your idea of fun, Diablo 3 is not for you. However, if it is, you need to get Diablo 3, a game that not only gives you all of that, but gives you a title with an impressive amount of story and lore behind it. Blizzard did an incredible job of making this the best version of Diablo 3 out there, although at the cost of the graphics. Nevertheless, Diablo 3 is an awesome port, one for which you will not mind starting over.